welcome back to my channel. Hope y'all are doing amazing. Hope y'all are staying blessed. Whew, it's a lot going on in the world right now, but I hope that my channel is bringing you some kind of peace, some kind of distraction, some kind of fun, something interesting. Today I'm going to be talking to y'all about my college experience. Don't ask me what that was. That's just how I feel when I think about college. Anyway, so if you don't know, I graduated not too long ago in May 2020 during a global pandemic. I'm making history over here, y'all. But yeah, so I graduated with my bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies from San Diego State University in May, and now it is July, and I just feel like there's some things I need to get off my chest. I just need other people to know about my college experience, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So stay tuned to hear this interesting story. Okay, so I'm going to take y'all back to the beginning, back to where it all started, high school. Dun, dun, dun. So I went to a very small, private Christian high school in Los Angeles. It was about 22 of us in my graduating class. Yes, 22, very small. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows everything about everyone. It's one of those. So that was high school was fine. We're not even going to talk about high school because it is what it is. It's high school. But I am going to talk a little bit about my process for figuring out what college I even wanted to go to, which kind of makes me frustrated still up until this day, but that's okay. We still made it to college, so it is what it is. When it came to looking at schools that had what I wanted or anything like that, I can't speak for anyone else, but I don't feel like I got enough support with that. And so when it came time to doing college applications, I was just applying to schools because of the name. So I was like, ooh, UCLA, I've heard of that. Let me apply there. I didn't apply there though. The schools that I did apply to, I was just like, oh, I've heard of this school. Let's apply here. Not knowing whether or not they had the major that I wanted, not knowing anything about the campus, not knowing anything about their education, not knowing anything about their social life on campus, not knowing any of that. I was just like, oh, I've heard of this school before. Let's apply here. So as you can imagine, once acceptance letters start rolling in, I get into a few schools, but when I looked, they didn't have the major I wanted. And at the time, I wanted to do broadcast journalism, which is a very specific major that not a lot of schools really had. So the schools that I got into didn't have that major, and then the ones that I didn't get into, some of them had it, some of them didn't. And so I just was left in a spot where I'm like, okay, where am I supposed to go to school? Because none of these schools really have what I want. I had decided that I was going to go to a community college and then transfer to whatever school I wanted. And I was fine with that. I had that plan set. I was ready to go. But then my counselor called me in for a meeting, and she said her exact words: "You're too smart to go to a community college." Yes. She said that I was too smart to go to a community college, which is insinuating that people who are at community colleges aren't smart because they didn't get into a 4-year, they didn't go to a 4-year. So she was like, we're going to get you into a 4-year and you're going to go there because you're too smart. And this is something that now bothers me a lot because I feel like this impression is put upon high school students a lot. It's like, well, if you don't go to a 4-year, if you go to a community college and you're not smart, you kind of failed at high school, and none of that is true at all. So I ended up randomly applying to University of La Verne. It was one of those emails you get that's like, apply here. because they need people. So I had ended up applying, and I didn't even pay the application fee, because that one did require it, but I didn't pay it. And then after I had that meeting with my counselor, I mysteriously got an acceptance letter to La Verne, and they had broadcast journalism as a major, which I was super surprised about. So I was like, well, maybe this is a sign. Like, maybe this is a school I'm supposed to be at. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to University of La Verne. Now, mind you, University of La Verne is a private school in La Verne, California, a very small town. So private means expensive. And so once I decided that's where I was gonna go, my parents and I took a trip down there to visit the school, and it was a really nice campus. I'm not even gonna lie, very beautiful, a lot of greenery, and I liked the campus, and I was like, okay, this is where I'm gonna go. So I was all set on going to La Verne, not even thinking about the cost or anything like that. I was just like, this is where I'm going. So I spoke to financial aid advisors and academic advisors, and I tried to get as much help as possible, but it's a little bit difficult for me because I had some other things going on that prevented me from getting certain loans or grants or whatever. So I didn't get as much financial aid as other people, or as I could have. I couldn't even get loans, so that, yeah. So going into my first semester at La Verne, I had owed $9,000. That was my balance after the Cal grant that I got. And so I was like, okay, how am I gonna pay this? And I needed to make a down payment on the payment plan in order to start going, and I didn't know where I was gonna get the money from, but praise God, I was blessed. Someone blessed me with the money to pay my first payment. And so I was like, okay, cool. So, I moved in, did my first semester. It was great, but I could not afford to make the payments. My parents could not afford it. It was about $2,000 a month, and we just did not have that. And at the time, I wasn't able to work, so there was nothing I could really do to help. So when it came time to registering for the spring, I couldn't register. All my friends were registering, and I just felt like a failure. I'm just like, what am I gonna do? I had countless meetings. I wrote a letter to the president of University of La Verne. I tried to do as much as I could, and they were just like, nope, sorry. So basically, I had to leave La Verne after one semester, and I owed almost $8,000 for the 4 classes that I took at La Verne. As you can imagine, I was extremely sad. I was crying almost every day. I felt like I had failed myself. I was just like, why couldn't I be smarter to get more scholarships? Why couldn't my parents have more money? I felt horrible, and it was a very bad time in my life. And so guess where I ended up going that next semester? A community college. And guess how much money I paid? $0. So if anyone tells you that you're too smart to go to community college or tries to make you feel bad, don't, because you get the same education, if not better, and you have to pay little to no money. I ended up going to West LA, and I was not happy to be there. I was so sad that I had to leave all my friends that I made, and I felt like I never really was able to get that true college experience because I had to leave, but I had to do what I had to do. And it got to the point where I was like, I want to be back at La Verne. And oh, mind you, I was not allowed to transfer to another university until I paid off the almost $8,000 that I owe La Verne, because they held my transcript. So I had to worry about paying that off. I had to worry about going to another school, and all this time I wasn't able to work. Eventually I was able to work. I got that situated, and so I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is it. I'm gonna be able to pay off La Verne all by myself, and I'm gonna be able to go back to La Verne in the fall. That's what I thought. Wrong. So I was just trying so hard to still be a part of the La Verne experience. So when it came time for fall, they still didn't let me back because I still didn't have the money pay it off, go back. So I was like, well, I still want to be out here. So I decided to go to Mount San Antonio College, which is a community college in La Verne, and I decided to move out there with a roommate. Yeah, I went to Mount Sac for 2.5 years, and I actually really like Mount Sac. It was a very beautiful campus. It's one of the largest community colleges, but the classes are small, and I feel like I learned a lot there. So I'm really thankful for that experience, and I did not have to pay anything at Mount Sac. My financial aid covered all of it, so that was great. And all the time I'm at Mount Sac, I'm still trying to get La Verne to let me back in, and it was even to the point where I wouldn't have even been able to take certain classes because I needed my previous transcripts from La Verne, but luckily I was able to get an unofficial printout, and Mount Sac accepted that, which I'm so thankful for because that allowed me to continue to take classes without having my actual transcript on file. So that was stressful, and all this time I'm working and I'm trying to pay off La Verne as much as possible, but I also took on rent every month and other utilities and bills by me moving out to Pomona, which is where Mount Sac is. So it's very hard. So when it came time for me to transfer, I couldn't because the money still wasn't paid off at La Verne, and I was nowhere near close. I had maybe like $5,000 or $6,000 more to pay. So that was very stressful, but I was just like, I'm gonna have to take a year off of school. That's the only way that it can happen. You know, my dad really didn't want me to because he felt that if I took a year off, then I wasn't gonna go back, but I knew that wasn't the plan. I knew I did want to go back to school. I just didn't want to do it in a bunch of debt, and I didn't want to take out a loan to pay La Verne and then have to pay that loan. So I was just like, I'm gonna take a year off, I'm gonna work, and I'm gonna get this paid off. So that's exactly what I did. I got 2 jobs, and I pretty much threw my money at La Verne as much as possible. And finally, I was able to transfer, and at that point, I knew I wanted to go to San Diego State University just because it wasn't too far from LA, but it was far enough, and they have a beautiful campus, so I was like, this is where I'm going. And the day I went up to La Verne to pay off the last $1,000 that I owed was the happiest day of my life. It felt like a chapter in life that was haunting me was finally closed, and I just felt relief and I felt peace, and I was just like, I am done with La Verne. Like, can you believe 4 classes just followed me for about 4 years? So I was so excited that I was going to be finally going to university so I could finish school because it had been too long. And I honestly had started to get discouraged because some of my friends were graduating already, and I was like, I'm going to be graduating late, not with my friends, not in the 4 years I'm supposed to be graduating. And I just had to learn, like, everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own path, not everyone graduates at the same time. My story is my story, their story is their story, and you know, that's how I feel about it now. But in the moment, I just really kind of felt bad. But I was like, you know what? I'm at this new school. I'm gonna get through these classes and I'm gonna finish. So starting at San Diego State University, I was like, I'm gonna be involved on campus. I'm gonna make new friends. That did not happen because I had to work. So work took up time because I had to pay rent and all my bills on my own. So it was basically school and work, and at one point I had 2 jobs. I don't even know how I had time to study. It was crazy. Finally, in my second semester at San Diego State University, I decided I wanted to get a job on campus, and so I applied at the bookstore on campus, which I am so happy I did because I met so many beautiful people there. I love my bookstore family so much. They were all so sweet, and that was actually one of the best experiences I had working at the bookstore. Just a fun environment. So I highly recommend anyone who's in college get a job on campus, because that's where you're gonna meet people if you're unable to be involved in other clubs or organizations. As far as like schoolwork and stuff, I honestly feel like I finessed my way through school. I changed my major about 3 times. So first it was broadcast journalism, then I changed it to public relations, and then I was like, interdisciplinary studies sounds cool. And so I actually found out about interdisciplinary studies from this girl I had a class with. She's like, yeah, that's my major and it's so cool. And I was like, ooh, what's that? So basically you get to choose 3 departments, and you get to choose whatever classes you want to take in those departments. So mine was communication, psychology, and journalism. And it was basically all the stuff I had already been studying, but I have a degree in all 3, and so I was like, yes, I'm here for it. So yeah, I really enjoyed my classes. Not too much to say about that, but I really just wanted to just give a rundown of my college experience and just let everyone know that college is what you make it. And I honestly feel like I didn't make the most of mine. I honestly don't think I utilized my college experience to the best of its ability. I really didn't make a whole lot of connections. I didn't connect with my professors. I wasn't in any clubs or organizations, which kind of sucks now that I'm out of college, but it is what it is. I still enjoyed my experience for what it was, and I do feel like having to work and support myself was a big reason why I wasn't able to have a lot of those experiences, because I just didn't have the time. But I'm still happy I was able to get work experience, because a lot of people in college don't have that because they don't have to work, which is a blessing. So now I just want to talk about my true feelings about college. What I really think about college. It's a scam, y'all. Don't do it. Period. No, but for real, I feel like coming out of college, you know, I learned some things, but was it really necessary? Maybe not. You do learn some other skills in college besides just doing the work. So I guess I learned other things that I'll be thankful for later in life. But if y'all try to tell me these are the best years of my life, I hope not, because that would mean my life is going downhill, because these years were stressful and unexciting. And I came out of college not knowing what I really want to do with my life, which really sucks. And I know when you're in college, you're supposed to explore and get internships and do all this great things, so when you get out, you have a job and blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't able to do any of that. So I don't know. I'm thankful for the experience that I had, but if I had to do it over again, I mean, I guess, you know, the cliche, you do it over again because you learn stuff. But I wish in high school they would have talked more about maybe picking up a trade, or more about entrepreneurship, just other options, and knowing, and you know, letting people know that going to a 4-year university isn't the only option, because you can be successful without that, or you can be successful and go to college later. So I think people just need to be taught that there are other ways and have a more open mindset. So when I have kids, if one of them say they don't want to go to college, that's fine with me. Save me some money and start your own business, okay? I didn't really get too much into detail in this video, but that was just kind of a rundown of my college experience and what it was like. And yeah, hopefully y'all had a better one than I did. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video about my college experience. That was not the norm, but everyone's experience is different, so it's my norm. And If you want, you can share your college experience down below, or if you're not in college yet, what you hope it to be like, and if you was in college over 50 years ago, what it was like when you went. Yeah, just talk to me, let me know, and I will see you all in my next video. Make sure to give this a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any more of my videos. Bye, friends. Oh yeah, I'm repping my school here.